my own view is that the market correction would have happened, and this just provided the occasion for it. And then it remains to be seen whether it overcorrected. The market decided it did overcorrect, and it's gone back about halfway. But of course, highly differentiated across firms. So we look at market averages, but the difference between firms is enormous these days. And some have just tanked by 70, 80%, and others like Amazon have actually gone up. So the characteristic of this particular correction is this differentiation among firms. And the same is true, by the way, in Europe and Japan. I don't have any idea, and no one else does either. We're in a very unique situation in which we've closed down lots of the economy, and we do not know how fast it will recover once the lockdown is eased. There are two sides: how fast business recovers and how fast consumers start spending. And this is a very unique situation. And so I have no idea how long it will take. I hope, but that's just a hope, not a forecast, that the worst quarter will be the second quarter, the quarter we're now in, April through June, and that the recovery will start in the third quarter, and it will be short of a check mark, deep downturn in the first and second quarters, and then gradual recovery in the third and fourth quarters and going into next year. In terms of the past, we've never seen anything like this before, but we have had recessions before. The most recent one, which people still remember, is 2008, 2009. Unemployment reached over 10% in 2009, and the bottom was reached in the third quarter, and then we recovered slowly, gradually, but steadily from 2009. When I say we, I'm talking about the United States economy, the different patterns in different parts of the world. The Europeans had a double dip recession, 2013, in addition to 2009. We've already exceeded 10% unemployment so far this year. The May figures will come out in early June, but it may well reach 25%, which is the level reached in the Great Depression of the 1930s. And that reached its bottom in 1933, and the recovery took place until the US entered the Second World War, basically. Again, there was a double dip recession in 1937-38. That was largely on the side of demand, inadequate demand, but there were a lot of bankruptcies also by firms who had to struggle back, if they got back at all. And we're likely to have a lot of bankruptcies this time also, although hopefully not as many as in the 1930s. The big difference between now and then being the 1930s, is that we have reacted very differently with monetary and fiscal policy. It's widely accepted among economists that the Federal Reserve made major mistakes in the early 1930s, and they avoided that in 2008 and subsequently, and they have avoided it now. They've flooded the market with liquidity to avoid a liquidity trap, and So there will be some bankruptcies, but it will not be due to a shortage of cash. And in addition, fiscal policy has been very aggressive. Partly in 2009, early 2009, we had a big stimulus package. To put numbers on it, just short of $800 billion spread over 2 or 2.5 years. This time we have had we're in the process of having a stimulus package over $3 trillion. So that's 4 times as large as in 2009. And Congress is still debating whether to have further stimulus. And so the policy reaction has been very different in the 3 recessions I've mentioned now, 2009 and the 1930s. It's too late to prepare for this particular event. We should have prepared for it years ago, partly by not cutting the budget of our public health system, which we've done steadily over the last 10 years. We've cut the budget of CDC. So we are unprepared on the public side, and of course the households have been and firms have been caught off guard. So how to prepare is for the next big shock in the future, and that involves managing household finances in a more forward-looking way. Savings rates, apparently the few figures we have so far, saving rates have gone way up in the US. By international standards, Americans are small savers. The Europeans, the Japanese, the Chinese households save more than American households do. Oh, well, I think being a teacher, I think that the more financial literacy, the better. I have a teenage daughter, and I'm encouraging her to study, among many other things these days, finance, household finance. And at the high school, they have a course in that. So I'm all in favor of financial literacy by every household, knowing how to budget and the best ways to save.